Hey everybody, it's Coach Ross with Coach Ross Football, bringing another video, continuing the series that I started about a month ago. We're kind of revisiting some of the concepts that we did this season to see how well they worked, and also to kind of rehash sort of what how we teach them and what we do and what we're looking for. So, if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. All right, if you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe as well. And let's get into the video. All right, so what we're looking at here today, this video, we're going to be covering corner. Normally it's called Y corner. We don't call it Y corner because, as you can see here on the screen here, we use different call signs for our receivers, a little bit different. It's always the way I've done it. So as you're looking, this one is H corner left. We teach corner and stick basically the same day, right? Because it's basically big time resemblance to stick. Some of the same ideas, some of the same concepts a little bit, especially if the corner route is not open or seen, then eventually essentially the play just turns into stick. So just kind of rehashing how we teach it and what we go through and what we're looking for here. We're looking at our standard Ace formation here, our 2x2 set here. And this is, we're running the concept to the left. Always backside is going to be always backside slants. We got a one-step slant on the slot and a three-step slant on the outside receiver. In this case, it would be Y. Again, they are just looking to try and get that open grass in behind the linebacker. He's trying to cut off the corner and flash in front of him. But as far as the concept side, we have our H receiver. We have him run a four-step corner. We've kind of messed around with 5 steps, 7 steps, but 4 steps seems to be the timing that we can get down properly. We don't teach yardage. We just teach steps because a lot of times the kids, they just can't get the yardage right. So we just tell them 4 steps and you're planting on that 4th step, you are planting hard with your inside foot. And our aiming points or our landmarks are, like most coaches talk about, if they're talking about corner, if we are outside the 20-yard line, if we are outside the red zone, then we are aiming for that front pylon of the end zone. But if we are in the red zone, then you are aiming for that back pylon to make that corner route. And you are looking over your outside shoulder, not your inside shoulder, for that football. And basically, essentially what we tell the receivers, you're not looking until after you made your plan, you're taking about 3 more steps, and then you should be looking over your shoulder. So in that, because a lot of times what we have is that receiver, he wants to look immediately off the line of scrimmage. We say, do not look for the ball until after you've made your plan and you've already taken 3 more steps on top of that. Then you should be looking. So that's our slot receiver. Now, again, we run this to the right side. Z, we'll just run the concept to this side. Z runs the corner route. So we are able to run the concept both sides. In this regard, we have X running what we call a long stick or a snag route. Okay, the kids recognize it just as long stick. They know it's a longer stick route. But essentially what he's doing is he's taking 1 step and he's running a hard slant. And then he's looking to settle up. He's locating the receiver that is inside or head up of the slot receiver. And then he's locating that defender and finding the space in between that defender and the nearest linebacker. He's going to settle up and he's going to show hands in that open space right there. And then the running back is just simply running the swing out to the sideline. He's not going past the line of scrimmage. He's essentially just going to the sideline. He's staying there and he's yelling ball if he needs to. Okay. So what are we reading? Well, what we tell the quarterback first is, because of typically what we see is we see a single high safety just about all the time. Every once in a while, we will see a 2 high safety, but if we see a single high safety, we're reading the corner first. So quarterback is locating this corner, okay? And what this corner does determines whether the quarterback will throw that corner or if he just looks to this next defender here, and essentially the play just turns into a stick. So what he's looking for first, where is that corner's alignment? How is he lined up? Because basically on the pre-snap, how he's lined up will determine whether he's throwing that ball or not over to the corner route. So rule of thumb typically would be almost the same as 4 verts. If that corner is about 5 to 7 yards off the ball, there's a good chance we're probably not going to throw that corner out, because there's a good chance that corner is just kind of just dropping and not trying to get beat deep. So he will drop. But that corner is up and press. Then we're looking at that corner. There's a possibility, because this is the open grass we're looking at behind it. So the read will simply be, if this corner bails and drops out, okay, on the snap, if he just bails out and drops, then we are coming off that corner route and we are watching this inside defender, or the inside head-up defender, over our slot receiver. In this case, would be H. And essentially the play just turns into stick. And the same rule of stick would be, if this player goes out following the running back, we throw in on the snag route. And if that defender stays in, then we throw the swing, right? A lot of times what we'll see this defender just roll out and kind of chase this corner, and we'll see this corner kind of following the snag. So it's a real easy read for the quarterback. And we didn't run the play much. A lot of times we kind of try to save this play for the red zone. But we didn't really have to run it in the red zone that often, because we didn't really have too many plays for that. So we were either well within the 20-yard line where it would be difficult to run a corner, or we made a big enough play that we scored, before we even had a chance to really run it. But rule for the quarterback again would be, if this corner just kind of runs and does not drop, then we are automatically throwing this corner. We're automatically throwing this corner out, even if we don't complete the ball. All right, it sends a message to the defense, such as say, hey, we're willing to go deep on here. So that plays a little bit of mind games with the defender, and he's going to drop. It does have an effect, even if you throw an incomplete pass. It does have an effect. It gets the defense aware that, hey, they're willing to throw over the top. So typically what you'll do is you'll start seeing these corners back up a little bit, back up some more, because they don't want to get beat deep. And then that opens up the inside stuff, or the shorter stuff underneath. And again, this offense is all about easy, quick completion. So the minute we get them thinking that we're going to go deep on them, we've already won, because now they're giving us all the stuff that we want to take it to start off with. Okay, so real quick, again, rehashing it. If this corner drops out, bails, immediately just drops out into a hard zone, then we come off this corner and we watch this defender here, and essentially just turns into stick. If he goes out, we throw in. If he stays in, or if he goes here, we'll throw out. All right. Now, if he runs with the corner route and this corner does not drop but goes this way, it follows in with the snag, we're throwing that corner out. All right, because that is a tough cover, especially against one of our best players, probably our fast player, especially in H, probably our best athlete. It's a definite mismatch with this linebacker. And there's just no chance, because we're going to put our best athlete. Typically, our best three athletes are going to be at our slots and our running back. So really, there's no chance for this linebacker, especially if he's playing on an inside leverage, to stay with that corner route against one of our better athletes. So that is our rules out of our ace formation. Here we are looking at our corner out of our ace formation, or 2x2 set again, just from the right side, and all the rules still apply. So I'm not going to go through all the rules again. I just wanted to show it to you from the other side. Same rules still apply. We're watching that corner. If that corner bails, then we look to this inside receiver. But if that corner runs or does anything other than bail, we are throwing this corner almost immediately. Now, again, something I didn't really touch when I showed the other side was, simple rule. If we see, excuse me, fix that. If we happen to say, for example, we ran corner to the left and we had a big completion on it, and now all of a sudden you see these defenders back up and they're giving us our backside slants. Again, quarterback has the freedom. Just because we call corner to the right does not mean he has to throw the concept. So if we see this kind of coverage right here, we're immediately going to take the slants. That is an easy completion. Quarterback has the freedom to throw either to X or H or Z or Y if it was on the other side. We are looking for the easiest completion. So that means backside, then we're going to throw the backside slants. So again, We drill this in the quarterback's head that he always has to know if the backside is open. On concept plays, he always needs to know the backside. So stick and corner typically are concept plays that we run. He needs to know if the backside is open. So he needs to constantly be looking at scanning from left to right before he even gets into his cadence. This is something that we drill into their heads early so that they know to look for it. And again, a lot of times if you don't rep it enough, quarterbacks automatically get into his head, oh, you called corner right or you called corner to this side, I have to throw this way without even giving this side a look. And that's not what we want. Again, we tell them early and often that easiest completion, whether that's backside, whether that's concept side, it does not matter. We want easiest completion. If we get short routes, short completions, then the stuff down the field opens up later on. Then that's fine. Because typically we don't want to necessarily throw down the field. Just because this is a more of a down the field, type of concept, we don't necessarily want to do that. We'll take it if it's there, but we want to throw the easy stuff. So again, that's one thing I wanted to touch on as far as the backside. We want to throw those easy completions. So the backside, if it's open, we're taking it right away. So if we see a coverage like this, quarterback has the freedom, and the receivers need to know that they are open right away, that they should be getting the ball. So we also tell the receivers, you need to be running every single route, even though you're not part of the concept, you should be running every single route like you are getting the ball. Like you're getting the ball. Just like in practice, we do routes on air when every receiver gets the ball. All right, run your route like you are receiving the pass every single play. Because you don't know how that defense is going to line up to you. You don't know when you're immediately going to be open. So you need to run the route like you are getting the ball every single play. And that's what we tell them. We drill that into our head early and often. So this is another view from the other side as far as corner. We'll jump into early and late here in just a second. All right, so here you are looking at our corner concept out of our early formation, which is our 3-by-1 to the right. Few minor changes here, but essentially the rules and everything stay the same. You still have Y, or in this case, the Y or the outside receiver still running that long stick or snag route, looking for that space in between the defender that's over top of the corner route and the other inside defender that is watching over our most inside slot receiver. Now, this changes up a little bit based on the coverage we see. But essentially, he is still looking for that open grass in between the defender that's over the corner route receiver and either the middle linebacker or this inside defender that's over the H. H always runs a flat route. He essentially replaces F in the concept. So he's running a flat route, what we call it, basically one step, and he's turning hard to the sideline, running parallel to the line of scrimmage, and immediately once he makes his plant and he's headed towards the sideline, he is immediately looking for the ball. Z, no matter what, whether it's stick, whether it's corner, he is running that concept route. So in this case, it would be the corner route. So again, 4 steps, and he's making that hard plant. Then rule, looking for that landmark, whether it's inside the 20 or outside the 20, determines front pylon or back pylon of the end zone. Our backside receiver running a 1-step slant, and a lot of coaches like to, especially on 3-by-1, like to try and keep their running back in for extra pass blocking or pass protection. Me, on the other hand, I do like to swing out that running back, especially on 3-by-1. I like to swing him out to the single receiver side, especially since that's our best athlete, and there's so much space over here that we can take advantage of, especially with it just being one single corner out there, that a lot of times we will kind of just tag it to the running back immediately, just based on coverage we see, or thinking the opportunity has it where we can take advantage of that open space, especially with one of our best athletes. Again, our 3 best athletes are going to be F, H, and Z. They're going to be our fastest guys, probably our quickest, twitchiest guys in space. X and Y are more tall, lengthy receivers that can jump real high. So again, this is the concept. The same thing applies here. We're watching this corner first, and based on what that corner does determines what we do the corner. So the rule essentially is the same The 3 by 1, we're watching this corner. The corner bails, we come off the corner route immediately. And then what we are looking for, what we are trying to read is the most inside receiver, or inside defender, excuse me. Okay, sometimes we would read this guy, but if the coverage, but in this case, in this scenario where the defense is set up, we would read this most inside defender here. And again, pretty simple rule, just basically just turning the stick. If this defender goes out, we'll throw it in. If he stays in, we'll throw it out to this flat receiver. A lot of times we hit this flat receiver, whether it's even on stick, 3 by 1, or in corner. We're reading this defender right here. Okay, again, backside is open. We are going to take that backside. And so I want to kind of talk about, well, first, before I do that, again, if this corner does anything but bail, we are throwing that corner out immediately, especially in a single high safety, which is basically what we see all the time. I probably covered another video kind of what we would do against 2 high safeties, but typically in middle school football, very rarely do we see 2 high safeties use a single high. We're getting basically a 7-man box for the most part. Now, a couple different ways we saw some coverages as far as our 3 by 1 set. This is what we saw initially. Just about every single opponent that we faced, if we went to our 3 by 1 set early in a game, this is the kind of coverage we saw. Now that would change some. Sometimes then, so later on in the game, we would have this defender stay there, corner stay there as well. This linebacker would drop off over here to almost add like a 5th rusher. Linebacker would move over. This linebacker would move over as well. And then we had this safety drop off. So now, essentially, we have no safety help in the middle. So we saw this a lot of times. This defender right here either would come across the line as a blitz, as an extra rusher, the 5th rusher, or sometimes it'd swing out after that running back. But again, that opens up space here. And since there's no safety help here, the corner becomes an easy play because, again, we are just reading this corner. If this corner drops off, then we come off the corner and we're watching basically this defender right here. And this defender a lot of times will run with the corner route. So we have essentially 2 routes we could hit automatically. And a lot of times we would try and just get it to our best athlete right here at the H on that flat route, because especially that safety, who's usually about 7 or 8 yards back off the ball, that's a lot of space to cover just to get to cover that flat route. And by the time he gets over there, the ball's already in probably our best athlete's hands, and he's looking to make it move up the field. And so he's got some room to move. This is our 3 by 1 late, and this is corner out of that. Same thing, stayed the same. The only thing that's different here is X now running the long stick or snag route, and now Y is running that 1-step slant because we switched over to late. Because he's still running the corner route, H is still running that flat route, and we still have F swinging out to the weak side. All rules still stay the same, and it's a pretty easy read for the quarterback. Again, I'm showing you right here the first initial defense that we typically would see against our 3 by 1 set early in a ball game. But then again, this is the coverage that we typically would see later on for the majority of the time. This is the coverage that we would see against our 3 by 1 set here. We saw this a lot. And we'll gladly take this because, again, there's open grass here, especially if this corner decides to run with the snag or even bails. The flat route is wide open. And again, since this linebacker would move over to act like another rusher or even run with the F, it creates a lot of open space for our snag route to come in there and settle up in that open grass. So there's a lot of options for this, especially if they give us this kind of a coverage. I almost would prefer this kind of coverage as opposed to the other one, but there are opportunities in both. Now, with regards to corner, we didn't run it much. Like I said earlier in the video, we didn't run it much this past season, so I only have a couple cutups to show you. But it was successful. definitely we're going to make it a point to run it a little bit more next year. Just never really had the opportunity to really, sit down and call it. Every once in a while, we would just call it just to see what the defense would, how the defense would react. But it wasn't one of our more called plays, which I want to change that for next year. But it was successful. And it was successful the way you're seeing it right here. So I'm not going to change anything with regards to how I'm teaching it. Definitely would teach this the same day as you teach stick. I wanted to show this one first, and this one's actually kind of funny. This one's a corner concept that goes right, even though 4 out of the 5 receivers don't run the right routes. For one, our running back is not even aligned properly. This receiver right here almost runs a screen, almost like he's running a Randy screen, which is a now screen to the right. And our backside receivers, they both run vertical routes when they should be running slant routes. So this was a corner route that was completed basically when all receivers were running the wrong routes. But I want to just show you how the corner route opens up, and it's the quarterback puts a nice ball in the space that is created by the space that's created by the corner, and then the corner route, and then the corner bailing and following the inside receiver, not bailing out to check the zone. And as you can see, realizing this right now, there's actually nobody. I didn't even realize that until I'm watching it now. There's actually nobody even covering our outside receiver right now. Quarterback should have saw that and just thrown it out there. But you can see that he's immediately dropping. All right, they have. This is the corner right here technically, and you can see how far back he is. It's because we've actually hit the ball or hit a few big passing plays already. So there you can see that they are playing pretty deep here. But as you can see, the space that is created right here, and this is the space right here, this area right here in the field that we're trying to take advantage of. And quarterback throws a great ball and drops it right in there. Technically, the receiver didn't necessarily need to turn around like he did. Back it up here a little bit. You can see this receiver right here. He's actually running a now screen. He shouldn't have been. You can see other receivers here. They're running vertical routes, but you see the space that is available right here that we're trying to take advantage of. It's a good ball by the quarterback. Good run after the catch and a good completion. Good yards after the catch. It's a good play. We're going to try it again. Definitely make a point to call it more next season for sure. Just never really called it that much. Didn't really have to because, again, like I said in my previous video, stick was such a big play for us. It was literally verticals and stick were our biggest plays. It was our biggest plays, and stick just would move the ball for us, move the chains for us. So didn't really need to call corner all that often. But here's an example of corner going wrong, but still going right. So that's that. I just wanted to show the space there that's available on the corner route. Now we are running corner to the right side here. Okay, so we have Z and our Y. Gonna run the snag route. So he'll run a snag route that's gonna pop in here. Z right here is gonna run the corner. Running back will run the swing. Got a 1-step slant and then a 3-step slant here. And right now, if I erase this, get rid of this again, rule. If backside's open, which it's not right now, okay, we can't necessarily take backside. Hard to see the coverage right here, but as you can see, here's the corner right here. All right, so he's up close, so that's a good indication that it possibly is a good man. He is, with his eyes, he's focused in right on that receiver right here. Here's the corner right there. Better color. There's the corner right there. See him right here. And his eyes are focused in right there. So that's a good indication of the quarterback that he might not be dropping out into coverage, out into his own coverage. So this space right back here is what we want to take advantage of. And I think they do have a safety. I believe the safety's right back here. So he's playing pretty deep center field. So again, this space is what we want to take advantage of. This area right here is what we want to take advantage of. And the quarterback does a good job of that. So go ahead and run it through. And you can see the space right here. Here's the safety. He's got no chance of making this play. Ball's already gone. And receiver makes a good play off it. We'll rewind that back. I think actually what happens is because their defender originally runs with the corner, actually really starts running with the outside receiver, and then eventually switches off and sees the quarterback throw that corner out over the top and kind of bails off the receiver late. By that point, you know, the quarterback, there's nothing the quarterback can do. He's already thrown that ball, but makes a good throw, good catch. And you can see this defender who's responsible for this defender right there, responsible for Z, doesn't even have a chance to really even turn his hips to move. And again, one of our better athletes makes a great play. And this is the athlete that we had playing Z position. He was your typical slot receiver, small, twitchy, you know, kind of reminded me of a little Wes Welker. And he ran good, clean routes and made some big plays for us. Did. And again, one of our better athletes, and the defender that was over top of him didn't even get a chance to move, to turn his hips before our receiver was already in his break. Now, again, the defender that almost makes a play on the ball, as you can see, he does a good job almost making a play on the ball, was the corner that comes off of it. The corner comes off his initial defender, or excuse me, his initial responsibility, and comes in to cover slot receiver right there. But it's a good throw, good catch, and a good game. And just to show you how easy it is to get that corner right. I mean, it seems like it's a scary throw, and it's really not, especially if it's repped properly in practice. It's actually a very, very easy completion. Even though it's a longer throw, it's still an easy completion to make. You'd be surprised at how easily they can make that completion, especially when there's space to throw the ball. Again, but with stick, with corner, our drops for our quarterback are 1 to 2 steps, and then that ball's gone. This is part of a quick game for us. It's not a drop back for us. So 1 or 2 steps, and that quarterback needs to be making his decision. That ball should be gone.